Hey everyone, welcome back to the Muscle podcast. It's Nikki here,
And Eleanor.
and today we're and today we're joined by our coach Jaden Snyder. Bodybuilding and lifestyle coach with BTY, better than yesterday if no one knows what that means. Jaden works with athletes across different levels, but today we're going to be getting more specific with the female side of coaching for him. And if anyone knows Jaden, we know it's probably a bit hard for him to be away from his phone from his clients for this hour. So we appreciate you joining us and talking with us.
Jayden is big on training intent, movement quality, and helping athletes actually understand their bodies instead of just following a plan blindly. And today we're going to dive into training principles, athlete mindset, common mistakes he sees in the gym, and what good coaching really looks like behind the scenes, specifically for female coaching. But we thought we would start with a little bit of a background on who you are, what got you into coaching.
I started competing / coaching in about 2014 was when I started. So over 10 years ago now. I was a competitive hockey player kind of growing up, and I went to university and stopped playing hockey. So when that happened, I needed something that kind of kept me competitive and kept me motivated towards something. So I started just looking up bodybuilding shows because I was into the gym at that point, and I kind of just dove into my first show when I was 18 years old, and kind of ever since then, I've done 14 shows, and after a couple of shows, I had people start reaching out to me and asking kind of just questions when I was probably like 20 years old, just asking questions about what I was doing and ways that I could help other people and stuff like that. So my coaching kind of no.
It's okay, Miley.
Dogs are welcome here.
So my coaching kind of just organically started on its own without any kind of intent of actually starting kind of coaching. So that's kind of how I got to where I am now.
You coached men first, right?
Yeah, my first good number of athletes were men, and then it's probably 2017 or so that I started to coach a couple of bikini girls. It was only about probably like 2021 that I started to take on a lot more women. Yeah, about 4 to 5 years now that I've been taking on a lot more women.
2021 is when I actually started with you, and it was crazy. Today I was looking through your posts because you made like a recap of the whole 2025 season, and I was like, it's just so crazy, like seeing how much you've even grown from 2021 to now. Like when I first started with you, happy 5 years.
That is crazy that it's been 5 years that we've been working together.
Yeah, I remember I knew I wanted to compete, but I didn't know like what that looked like or how or what I was supposed to do. So I remember when I first started working with you, I'm like, this is what I want to do and it's where I see myself, but like I don't know when I want to be ready. So you just kind of take the lead and just tell me when I'm ready.
Yeah.
So I think it was a year. I think we were working together in November 2021, and then my first show was in 2022. So we did a full year.
Yeah. Yeah, it was in like
After-
October. It was like October or something of 2021, I think, that you started.
Yeah.
Did you encourage her to take like that time off and grow, or did she just say like, I need to learn how to do this?
Well, I mean, she wanted to do wellness, and at that point, like wellness was still kind of relatively new-ish.
Mhm.
So we just figured like to do it right, then we needed some time to grow, and because she like, you could tell that she was a muscular girl and stuff like that, and that kind of the potential was there to build more than what kind of bikini is. Like she was already at that point kind of, you would say, too big for bikini probably. So yeah.
Yeah, we knew I'd fit best in wellness and then just kind of grew into that. And then you're like, okay, we can start prep at this time. And I was like, right, let's do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Eleanor, how long have you been with him now?
I'm still a newbie. I've been with Jayden less than a year. When did we start? April, May?
Yeah, it was roughly by the time you like officially started, it was because you had a vacation before prep. So it was like 20 weeks out of Toronto.
Yeah.
So roughly almost a year because we're like 23 weeks out of Toronto right now.
Yeah.
That
It
went by
was,
fast.
That went by really fast.
or no, sorry, it was 20 weeks out of nationals. Sorry, not Toronto Pro Qualifiers. 20 weeks
No.
out of nationals, right? So yeah, it wasn't. Yeah.
And I remember just the entire like time with you. I just kept asking everyone like, when is this going to get hard? When is he going to make changes? I was so anxious. Nikki's very much like a pullback. Like, I don't really know, or I'm just going to chill and like wait for Jayden to pull trigger. And I'm like, why are you doing this? Give me all the information. I'm like, it's really hard for me to like give control to somebody else, but you made it work really easy. I think I told you this a few times. Like, when is it going to get hard?
Yeah.
It didn't.
That's a good thing.
But Jayden's was your Nikki's first coach.
Yeah.
Jayden was my third coach, my last coach.
First and last.
Third and last.
Third and last, yeah.
Yeah, so it's nice too, especially like with this podcast, because a lot of listeners can have both perspectives of what it's like to, only be coached by Jayden, but also have the understanding of what other coaches are like. Yeah.
Awesome. Why don't we start with some rapid fire questions? Okay. Yeah. Morning training or evening training?
Evening.
Squat or pendulum squat?
It goes in phases. Right now, it would be hack squat.
Okay. Ooh, RDLs or hip thrusts? He's like, I do neither.
RDLs for sure.
Ooh, one lift you think people think they're doing right, but most times are not?
He's like, just one?
Oh,
Just
I
one.
don't know. I mean, probably like most variations of squats for a lot of people, but
Yeah.
like very person dependent, but like any form of deadlift would definitely be one that would like anything that's hinging. A lot of people think their body's doing one thing, but it looks completely different on the outside. So
Yeah, forms usually offer that one. Okay.
yeah.
One cue you repeat to clients nonstop. I think I know this one.
What do you think it is? I don't even know what.
Check-ins past 12.
Yeah, that's definitely one. Yeah, I wasn't really thinking in that sense of, but yeah, no, that would be one of my pet peeves. That's for sure. If that's a question, because late check-ins, that would be one for sure.
Oh my God, I remember. Wait, I have to tell the story. I think it's hilarious. My first check-in to Jayden, I'm like, why isn't he answering me? Like, it's been like a day.
Yeah.
He's so good. Everyone talks about how quick he is in check-ins. I'm like, who is this guy? I realized my check-in never sent.
It's your problem.
It was a me problem. And then I remember Marie came up to me too. She was like, he hates that. And I was so embarrassed.
You're like, well, this is a great way to start things off here. Biggest mistake first time competitors make?
Depends, but a lot of times just like sometimes like setting realistic expectations for themselves. And then being let down by not reaching those kind of expectations that they set for themselves. That's person dependent. Some people those expectations are justified. Yeah, and then kind of comparing themselves to others. I'll see it a lot where someone, like, even if they're another one of my clients who are doing the same show, they'll be like, oh, like, why does this person look like this and when I look like this, and not realizing like, this is this person's sixth show and this is your first show. And so you're just kind of comparing yourself to other people when you aren't really in the same kind of league yet. And then it just kind of can affect their confidence and take away from just their ability to execute and do what they're supposed to be doing.
That's very true. Yes. All right. We got a couple more.
Rest day. Do you think full rest or a little bit of cardio?
I mean, it depends what phase we're in and what we're doing, but I like a lot of times, like I will always try to have, when possible, a full rest day for most people, at least once a week, where I'll like specifically write like on this rest day, like if you have like 5 cardio sessions, then I'll be like, one of those days that you take off is like full rest day, like no going to the gym, no like nothing.
Mhm.
But yeah, it really depends. Yeah.
Undaunted Attire is a one-of-a-kind athletic wear made for comfort, movement, and confidence. Gear that stays secure, feels good, and lets you focus on your training, not your clothing.
Designed for the people who show up, stay consistent, and keep moving forward. Undaunted Attire for the fearless. Use code Nikki or Eleanor at checkout. Right.
One thing you wish more athletes understood about recovery.
How important it is, I guess. Like, I don't know.
That is essential.
Yeah, 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 not neglecting your like your sleep and um all those kinds of things, like how much it really does play kind of a role in your kind of long-term both health and success if you're kind of not focusing on recovery. Yeah.
Favorite gym music. What do you listen to?
Like kind of a hard rock. Yeah.
Love
Okay.
it.
Okay. Favorite division to prep. Female.
Usually wellness, just because there's a
Favorite
little bit more of like a freak factor, like wow to it, where like some bikini girls would like 100% like like still have that, but like there's more of like that like wow factor in wellness. Sorry.
what about would that be your favorite division to watch then?
I would say it's the most, yeah, the like, yeah, because bikini at the highest level is like, for a lot of people they look at it and they like, a lot of girls like they just look the same. It's so hard for like a lot of people to really tell the difference between like like really high level girls, where wellness, like there's a little more kind of variance between the girls that you're able to pick kind of certain things apart, where like there will be bigger size differences between the girls and stuff like that, where at in bikini, like there's not a lot of variance that you can have within kind of the difference in size and stuff like that. In the you will get like unique shapes in bikini, but like you'll see a lot more of it in wellness. That, yeah, just because there's more to play with.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. What is one myth in bodybuilding you want to kill?
Oh, I don't know.
There's so many.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't really have one that could kind of is on the top of my head.
Hmm,
What do you guys have?
I was gonna say like you can't make progress naturally.
Yeah,
To an extent,
yeah,
maybe.
To an
yeah,
yes.
yeah, 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 and then yeah, and to extend on that, like people who are enhanced, if they're kind of in a health phase, for them to think like, oh, I'm just in like cruise control, like I'm not like, you're not pushing it as much in the gym because you don't think you're going to be able to grow where you can still progress during that phase. But
Yeah, I think I'd agree with you on that one. All right, let's get into the juicy questions. So we put in our story for everyone to ask you any questions when it came to coaching, female coaching, PEDs, hormones. Basically, everything was on the table. So I guess we can just go through them one by one. We got quite a few, which I'm really happy about. So we could start with this one. As a coach, have you noticed a trend within clients that is a direct result of fitness social media? In it more, like, are people in it more for social media credit versus the genuine love for the bodybuilding sport?
I mean, in my personal experience with people that I coach, I don't see that. Um, at least not like in an obvious way. There's definitely people out there who are like that, where they think it's just like the cool thing to do in fitness and stuff like that. But
And
I
I
feel
guess
like it's
for your
gone.
clients, like you could see the insides of what they're doing based on their progression, their dedication, consistency with that side
Yeah,
of things, and also what they put on social media. And if they match or don't, like you can really see it more forefront.
yeah. Like it would be easy for me to tell if someone's being fake online with like kind of like how serious they are or how much they follow or whatever it is.
Because things
I
won't
don't.
really add up in your check-ins if that wasn't the case.
Yeah. Yeah, like I can't like I could say I can think of any specific examples of anyone who is like that. And I feel like in the competing world, it's not as much as maybe a few years ago because um there was a point where people just thought like to kind of make a name for yourself in fitness, like you had to be competing. So like that's what drove some people to competing back like a couple years ago maybe, but like people like nowadays like you don't have to compete to kind of create something within the fitness industry or make money within the fitness industry. And honestly, like there can be advantages to not competing for a lot of those reasons. So I feel like it might have peaked, like that type of thing might have peaked kind of a few years ago and gone down since then.
How does your coaching, do you think, is different from other coaches? Like, what sets you up a little bit differently?
That's a hard one for me to really kind of answer because I know in some ways how some other coaches kind of work, but I can't like say what they do or don't do because I haven't worked with like a lot of these other coaches or but um I would say a huge thing that kind of is a big thing for me that I mean should be for a lot of coaches is just the attention to detail and with um, specifically with the kind of contest prep towards the end with kind of really um, making sure that every single thing is where it needs to be and learning their body and how it adapts to every single kind of variable that you can throw at it. Um, I would say that that would be kind of one of the things that I take a lot of pride in. I don't know if like I would say that's some verbs. I feel like that's just something that every coach should have as something about them. But um, and like I would say, kind of my work ethic would be one of them. In the sense that I don't stop working. Like at all. Like the Christmas break was very nice. I haven't gone to bed at 3 a.m. for a while, but today's like my first like official day back at work, and plus Maria's gone away for work this week, so I'll probably be up until 3 a.m. tonight after this. But um, yeah, I would say that's one of the things that like kind of no matter how busy I get, there's no like reason that I don't get things done. But I'm
Yeah,
sure
you're very
there's
much on it.
yeah, I'm sure there's kind of some other things, but like I said, I don't really know kind of what other coaches do or don't do, but those are the two kind of main things that I can think of aside from like some of the obvious ones, like um, being very much kind of about health first, as kind of cliche as that is to say, like where I'll have to be the one who pulls people back and like where I know there are some coaches out there who are the ones kind of pushing people in a direction that maybe they're not comfortable in when I'm sometimes having people tell me that they want to go harder or whatever it is. And I'm the one that has to kind of reel things back in because I'm not comfortable putting them into those places that they are asking me to go, where I've actually lost clients because of those reasons. Um, because they would ask me to do things that I didn't feel comfortable making people do. So I've parted ways with clients because of those things. So um, yeah.
That's really important. And I definitely appreciate how much you do care about the health side of things, like especially with my experience with you the last year. I know the previous episode that will be launched right before this one, Eleanor and I really dove deep into experiences with like our periods and our cycles and just our health markers and hormones and all the rest. And I did mention in there how we took the whole year off. And you even told me we're going to have X amount of consistent periods first before even thinking about a show or even thinking about pushing again until we have things consistently right in the blood work. And like with you too, you have a whole other section in the check-in form where you keep track of all of our markers. So I really appreciated that because there was one part where I'm like, I don't even know when I'm going to compete next, but we're just going to focus on this and roll with it. But we dove deeper into this the previous episode.
Yeah.
So I feel like that could be a whole whirlwind if we get into it again right now.
It could be. But I think what you did mention about like the mock you called it the mock peak.
Yes, yeah.
I guess, like, I do have experience with other coaches, and I feel like other coaches, like, did, like, the mock peak, but the way that you make it, you make it as its own day. So, like, remember, you time everything too, like, this time you do this, like, it's actually a mock peak. It's not like, "Hey, let's just go through a day and I'm giving you another high day." It's like, I need to see what you look like after every single meal. And then it kinda made things a little bit easier knowing, like, what I needed to pack for the show because I already knew everything that I was gonna be eating that day. I think also what sets you apart is the team itself. Like, just, like, having the team and having everybody there on show day makes such a big difference.
Yeah, we definitely have a good community. Okay, next question. Are you realistic and honest with your clients if a different division would suit them best based on what they'd want to do?
Um, I've I mean, at the end of the day, it's like I like whatever they are passionate about, and like I've had like the one that can sometimes be um an issue is when girls it's definitely more of an issue with girls than guys because like guys it's very easy to cross over. You can easily just go into a show and be like, I'm doing men's physique, classic physique, and open bodybuilding today, and it's like you just change your trunks and change your posing a little bit and it's fine, and you can like conform to each of the divisions. Where the women's, I mean, you're not allowed to do fit model and others. So but the one that I run into more often is girls who do not want to do bikini and they think they're wellness. And then I have to tell them like, hey, like you will, at least for the next probably like 2 years, you will do better in bikini, as like unless you are okay with doing a very long off season for the next couple of years, and trying to grow into wellness. But as of right now, if you were to compete today or in a year from now, you would probably be better suited in bikini or a very small wellness girl. But a lot of girls, just as I kind of mentioned, like discussed how wellness is like my kind of favorite division to watch. Like a lot of girls aspire to be wellness girls because they want to be those girls with like the big legs and like the big butt and everything where um so that's the one that I kind of run into. I mean, I haven't had a lot of with the fit model bikini yet. I've had a couple of girls having that conversation since it's come out. Um, but um, usually they're kind of open to hearing what I have to say. But I will always be honest if there's a division that I feel like they're going to be better suited in. But at the end of the day, it's they're the ones who are competing in the division, so it's whatever. And if they're okay with, if they know that like you might not place as well in the division that you enjoy more, but that's like you will have more fun on stage, then so be it. Like we'll have some guys who, I mean, men's physique versus classic physique. I could tell some guys like, hey, you're gonna do a hell of a lot better in men's physique. They're like, I don't like the posing. I'd rather like do classic where I can pose more. And it's like, okay, that's fine. You'll have more fun on stage probably, but you won't do place as well as if you did men's physique. So, but yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
like, my roommate is a perfect example of she just wanted to compete, she wanted to do wellness, you told her that realistically, she
Yeah.
shouldn't be doing wellness, and
Yeah.
then she
I can't
didn't
even
grow, and now
yeah.
she's grown and she's took 2 years off and she's
Yeah.
grown
I
wellness.
can't even remember how that conversation went when we
Tells me
decided.
all the time, she's like, "Yeah, he basically said no." Or
And
like,
that's
"You
good that you're like realistic and you're honest and you give them like that realistic expectation of what might happen for show day. But it's not like you completely say, no, you're not doing that.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, like you want to do it, like you're gonna have to work and it's gonna take the time, and you're gonna have to accept that you're not gonna step on stage for 2 or more years,
Yeah.
especially if you're trying to go from one division into the bigger division. It's not just gonna happen in one off season for most people.
Yeah. 100%.
What is it like turning somebody pro? What do you think it takes as an athlete and a coach to work together to kind of go into the pro league?
Well, number one, like there will always be a genetic component to it. And you just have to be realistic if you have that or not. You don't have to be the biggest genetic freak in the world, but you have to have some form of genetic structure that, depending on what your division is, that's going to give you somewhat of an advantage. And then you have to be able to, one, have the work ethic that's going to match or supersede the genetic advantage that you might have. And then number three is you have to do every single thing that you're being asked to do, and not or you'll see a lot of people who you'll be like, wow, like if this person just dialed it in and just did what they were supposed to do and whatever, like they'd be a pro, or they'd be on the Olympia stage or whatever. But it's like there's just some people who they're the biggest genetic freaks in the world, but they kind of rely on that too much, and they don't do the other things that they need to do, where they don't work as hard or they don't follow the plan. So you need a really good balance of all three of those things. Um, the latter two with kind of following the plan and working hard, and then the genetics will help kind of take you over the top. Because I mean two of the guys that I turned pro this year are genetic freaks, but they also worked very hard and did all the things that they needed to do to beat the other people that showed up. Where Bella isn't the most kind of genetically gifted girl in the world, where she does have good genetics. She has a very small waist, and she's been able to kind of shape her physique and grow into bikini. But she was one who did had to work a lot harder and had to follow the plan extremely well for literally since the day that we started working together. And so yeah, it's a very good balance of all three of those things that you have to kind of have. And if you don't have one, then don't expect to turn pro.
Yeah. With that being said, what are your thoughts on someone who deserves to be a pro versus someone who doesn't? Like some people might say, oh, it only really matters on that day who the judges choose, who looks the best, and that's who wins. Or do you, how do I word this? Or say if someone who like really put the work in, they're dedicated, they want this long term, they do the work to a T all year round, like, but they lost to this person, would you say like that person who did all those things and has a different mindset about it, almost like more of a positive mindset about it, would you say like that person deserved to be pro versus the one who did go pro? Am I wording that correctly? Does that make sense?
Sort of. It's not. It's it's a hard question to ask and like properly kind of phrase for sure. Yeah, like that's kind of yeah, definitely coming off of the last question, where kind of like you can be someone who is a robot and does every single thing every single day. Like you never mess up. Like you train like an animal every single day, and you have your recovery and everything is exactly where it needs to be. But then somebody shows up who's just a genetic freak, who, even if maybe they were like kind of like they didn't give as much effort as maybe you did kind of in the gym or in the off season, um but that's just unfortunately kind of the way that
How
it
it works.
works.
Yeah.
um where but To say that person, I mean, it is tough to, when like you outwork someone and you do like all these things and you lose, and it's very easy to say like, yeah, like I like that guy doesn't deserve to go pro, he didn't like work as hard. And all the only thing that, like you said, the only thing that matters is that one day, and the judges don't care how hard you worked, or
Yeah, the
kind of
judges
how
don't
like
know.
they don't care if you if you cheat on your diet a week out or anything like that. If you showed up on stage and you were the best on stage, then you deserve to go pro. If you showed up on stage and you win, then
And that's
maybe
that.
somebody could be kind of like they worked harder, and they could be kind of more deserving in that sense. But at the end of the day, you didn't beat the guy who beat you. So
That is true. Makes sense.
What do you do to support clients with their mental health, especially like in prep, when we can get, especially as females, I feel we can get extremely anxious when our hormones are all messed up. Obviously, let's say we lost our cycle during prep. Like, what do you do to support clients?
I mean, a lot of the times it's just a lot of kind of reassurance that a lot of people just need is, yeah, depending on what the situation is that they're going through, and what they're kind of experiencing that is causing them to have any sort of kind of anxieties or whatever it is. Like you just like, for the most part, it's just about kind of reassurance. In that sense, that's kind of the main thing that you can do, and then from there you can kind of gauge how the situation is and how they kind of really kind of feel about that. If they're just kind of having a moment where, because the amount of times I'll have someone who, so many ladies did this to me 2 days ago, and they'll see this and laugh. Send me a message, and I'll like see that I got a message from them. I'll go like an hour later, I'll go to open it, and then the message will be deleted. And I'll be like, "Oh, I'm like, do you have a little bit of a like a moment there?" And they're like, "Yeah, I'm good now." It's just like, so sometimes you just gotta like gauge like whether like how serious is like whatever you're kind of going through. Like, do you just need to be calmed down? Like, do you just need to be told that like it's okay, or like you're in like, um,
Or do you need to go deeper and maybe have like a deeper chat or something or hop on a
yeah,
call?
yeah. So you just got to kind of feel out like how serious it is, because a good amount of the time it's just like a mini crash out that like they're just like kind of in a mood that can just easily be snapped out of. But sometimes obviously it's much more than that, and you need to kind of maybe sometimes dig a little bit deeper and be there for them. But yeah, more often than not, it's just kind of an in the moment, just kind of mental struggle that can be kind of.
I think you're also really lucky because, like, I remember one time Nikki had a little bit of a freak out, but you didn't know how to like support her, so you ended up telling her to go to, or you called Ashley, our opposing
Oh,
coach.
yes.
Yeah,
We like end up reaching out to her. Can you too?
And
yeah,
she's really good to have on the team, like as a
yeah,
girl's girl, like from a girl's
yeah,
perspective, like call Ashley, talk it out with her, like just depending on what
yeah,
the situation is. But that was really helpful.
yeah,
Or like
yeah. There's
with me, you would send. I would always freak out about like I'm not going to be lean enough. You would constantly be sending me like progress photos of before and after, and I
literally
didn't.
sometimes when all of the when it's about like those little mental things of like, did I progress enough, like am I going to be better than last year, whatever, like I won't even say a word. I'll literally just find a photo that's like relevant to like the timeline or whatever it is, and I'll just like send the photo. I'll be like, there you like, you good
Send.
now?
You're like, oh yeah, maybe you're right. Okay, moving along.
Yeah.
All right, moving on.
Juicy stuff now.
Yeah. Okay. How do you know the correct compound to give an athlete? What does that look like?
Couple things. Is it their first exposure to PEDs? Is it, what kind of division are they in? What is their kind of goal with kind of using the PEDs? What like the main thing is kind of what is your goal as an athlete? And what is the risk tolerance of the athlete as well?
What do you mean risk tolerance?
What are you willing to do to get to your goal? Where obviously I don't always meet people where they are. If they're like, I'll do whatever it takes, like I'll take whatever you tell me, like, but there are some people who have kind of more boundaries on kind of what they're willing to do, whether it's compounds or timelines or like dosing, or whatever it is. um that's kind of what like I mean by kind of risk tolerance, where some people um will kind of have like a much high like a higher kind of risk tolerance, where they'll be willing to kind of challenge themselves a little bit more, and um aren't as um worried about kind of some of the potential side effects. Or I mean, with a lot of those people, um luckily, because of kind of, I think it's mostly because of like the energy that I put out, I don't get a lot of people who are, especially females, who are really like, give me more, like I want to run this, I want to do this, like, um I don't want to come off or whatever it is. So luckily I don't have a lot of that where I have to kind of lay the law down on in that. But yeah, so if it's like a first prep, like the comp, like it's usually going to be between I mean, if we're talking like PEDs as in anabolics, then it'll likely be between kind of two things for the first um, exposure, whether it's either Anavar or Primo. Um, Typically, if it's the first one, then it'll be Anavar just because we're just going to avoid kind of needles right off the bat, unless that's something that they're okay with, um, then Primo is a good option to start. And then for the first exposure, you usually want to keep it to 8 weeks and really just kind of see how they respond to that, and track kind of a number of different things within both kind of the so there's two aspects that you want to be covering when you're watching someone who is taking PEDs as a female. That's one, kind of their menstrual cycle, and any kind of deviances or changes to that. Where if you do an 8-week cycle, then typically you're having two kind of menstrual phases with and then seeing how the follow-up one that comes at, like the first one after you stop is. And then you also have kind of your viralizing side effects that you're going to want to monitor, which if if it's your first exposure, you typically should be seeing absolutely nothing if you're doing it properly. And if you are seeing anything negative in an 8-week exposure of kind of, you would be either running 5 milligrams of Anavar or like 20 to 30 milligrams of Primo. You shouldn't be seeing anything. And if you are seeing something, then I would say PEDs probably just are not for you. And but as far as the menstrual cycle side of things, everyone's going to kind of respond to a number of things differently. There are certain drugs that will kind of shut that down quicker than others.
So like
Typic-
Primo versus Anavar, Primo would probably shut it down quicker.
so Primo typically will actually be more delayed. There's a few reasons. One reason being is, especially if you're using injectable Primo, it's an enanthate ester, so it is a longer acting ester, so it takes longer for it to kind of build up in the system and saturate in the system, whereas Anavar is an oral, so it is a much quicker half-life, so it's going to be taking effect much quicker. So and then there's the SHBG component of Anavar that does kind of accelerate the it has a greater effect on the SHBG, so there will be a much quicker in some females shutdown of their menstrual cycle. And then you get into things like NPPs becoming popular, especially because of the shortage that happened with Primo and stuff like that, where NPPs started to get popular, where it doesn't have super strong viralizing effects, but it does have an effect on progestin, which will cause it to be usually on paper the quickest to shut down menstruation, because it will block progesterone kind of very quickly. So there will just be no rise and fall of progesterone to cause menstruation to occur. But so that's when I don't really kind of like to. I've never used it with a woman. I understand why some people like it,
This
but
is NPP.
NPP, yeah. But yeah. So for first exposure, it'll be typically Anavar or Primobolan, and then 8 weeks. See how everything responds. Make sure that the period doesn't change in the first or second cycle, and then following the third cycle, making sure that things stay regular. Because with adding in hormones, you're adding in kind of exogenous hormones, which tells the body that, okay, we have androgens present, that, and then kind of the LH and FSH will shut down and stop producing, and then we'll no longer have kind of estrogen present, and then that will be where we cause the shutdown of the menstruation. So yeah, those would be the two kind of options that are the first options, and then yeah, and then from there you can decide like, okay, like we had a really good response here, and we didn't lose our period. And then from there, the next cycle, you can say, okay, we can either run the same duration again and maybe try to increase the dose slightly, or we can try to maybe keep the same dose, but add maybe another two weeks onto it, and continue to kind of see where things are. And then kind of each cycle you can sort of extend the duration, or until you kind of find that sweet spot where you're not getting any sort of effects on either menstruation or kind of the viralization effects, where that's kind of an approach that's the similar approach that I took with Nikki in her previous cycle. Was we started off with extremely low dose primo, made sure that her first cycle remained, and then once we realized like, okay, yeah, we had our period, and then we're like, all right, let's try to bring it up. We brought it up 10 milligrams a week, and then waited till the next one, and then got a period again, brought it up another 10 milligrams, and then that was getting to the point of the end of the cycle, and at that point was when she ended up missing a period. So we got through 2 cycles and then missed one, and then it was like, okay, that's now it's time, we'll pull it out, and then the next month she recovered her period. So
Yeah, I feel like everyone's so different with how they respond to, like, I know for me, I get to a certain point and then my body's like, nope, that's kind of like my threshold, and then my
yeah,
my cycle will be
yeah,
gone. But then
yeah.
even like with other females too that I've talked to or heard of in the past, like some doses can be higher and they'll notice no side effects. They'll have the period the whole time. Some people are more sensitive, like me, or even when it comes to viralization too. Like someone will do their first cycle and they'll notice more side effects than someone who's been taking it for a long time who don't have those side effects. So, like you said, monitoring everything, starting small is really important.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. With a lot of these, I mean, the dose is a big thing, but I mean, I feel like most people are really smart with that, or should be, where they're not like doing. I mean, with especially with primo, I'll hear crazy numbers, and even Anavar, you'll hear some crazy numbers that girls are taking, but um at least for me, for the way that I do things, the duration is the biggest thing that I like to watch, because I don't bring the doses very high at all. So it's the duration is for me is the main thing that I'm trying to find that like sweet spot for my girls, that they can kind of make that progress and then get out while they're still good, and then things can kind of resume as normal and recover everything properly.
You don't have any figure clients, do you? Like I guess the highest division that you currently coach for females, is it wellness?
Well, I have a few natural physique girls who are just like looking to do their first show in the off season. I have had a couple of women's physique girls in the past that have
Enhance?
one enhanced and one natural. So I haven't worked with a lot of those girls, but um, definitely more the wellness bikini fit model.
Because we had a question and someone asked, are there any PEDs you refuse to use with females? So like let's say a girl comes up to you and she says like, "Hey, I want you to coach me, but I really want to take X." And you're like, "I'm not going to put that in on you." Um would you deny them, or would you say, "Okay, let's try it out?"
Um, yeah, I'm not gonna touch it. I'd say you can go find a coach that's gonna let you touch whatever you want to touch. Um, yeah, it would be. Yeah, there's a few definitely on that list that I won't touch, and there's certain that are on a short list that are things that I will only touch in very very small durations under certain kind of situations, like in prep, within like the final 2 weeks. But things like there's quite a few, like I'll probably never ever put a girl on Masteron, or like, I mean, Tren is an obvious one, but like, yeah, a number of orals. There's a lot of orals that girls will take. Like, you'll hear of girls that will take Anadrol or stuff like that, and yeah. And then yeah, I stick, as far as the anabolics go, I stick very basic. I don't kind of branch out past what I know works. Also because I'm not trying to create like freaks. Like, I'm not like coaching women's bodybuilders or like stuff like that. So the divisions that I'm coaching are extremely feminine, and I
You want to
really
keep it
try to
that
keep my
way?
girls as feminine as I possibly can. And then I guess, like, I forgot to mention, like, upon the first compound I'd give to someone, like, I only spoke on kind of the anabolic side of things, where obviously there is the other side where you can go into the peptide route and other kind of things that are not hormonal, or androgens, that you can kind of work to start with before you ever have to go that route, where you can get a lot of kind of results with other things that don't touch your hormones at all. Which, with a lot of girls who are just starting out, those will be the ways that you kind of would lean towards to start. But then again, it also depends on kind of just like risk tolerance and their kind of um, competition goals and all of that.
Yeah, that's good. Makes sense. What kind of client do you look for or accept? Like, what's your ideal client?
Um, I mean, besides like the obvious, like just like someone who um works hard, follows the plan, does what they're told. I don't have to worry about them not following the plan. Um, and they someone who like I like someone who will ask questions. Obviously, I like people who just follow the plan and just do the thing and whatever. But um, I do like when people do ask questions to try to understand what they're doing. But I don't like know-it-alls, who try to um, almost tell me what we're doing, or um,
Yeah, you have a coach for a reason.
yeah, or there are people who I have had in the past, who, like, it's almost like they're coaching themselves, and I'm just like, and they're sending me check-ins to tell me what they're doing. And if I do make changes, they question everything, not in a sense of trying to learn, but in a sense of like they think they know better. So just, yeah, someone who's not like that, and is there to be coached and be coachable, and yeah.
All coachable.
Yeah, I find that that's hard for so many coaches nowadays because there's so much stuff on social media. So they're like, "Oh, I saw this. Why aren't we doing this?" You probably get this question a lot. Like, "I saw this. Why aren't you doing this with me?"
Or
Yeah.
comparing themselves to others. Oh, like we kind of said before, so and so's doing this, or they look like this. Like, what can we do to be the same or whatever? But you can't compare
Yeah.
yourself to others.
Or like you even said this in the beginning, like people won't set proper expectations for themselves. They're like, "I want you to turn me pro this year." Or
Yeah.
like, "This is my first year competing. You're going to turn me pro."
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I feel like that makes it hard.
Someone asked, I've noticed that your athletes are on meal plans. Do you accommodate macros or not? Why or why not?
If someone's like I have a few people who, like, they might be like in an off season, or um I know, like, maybe like they're a coach themselves, or um different things. But like, I think like I might have like one or two people right now who I'm like, I give them a meal plan, but I'm like, these are your macros. If you want to like kind of create your own thing with these macros, then go for it. But No, like for the most part, like especially like and those are people that I know and like I trust them to do things right. But if it's like, yeah, no, I don't do just macros. Like I want to be um in control of kind of all of the foods that we're eating and know kind of all of the variables that are happening, especially if we're going into like if we are in a prep setting, then those are all things that I need to be kind of knowing we're fueling ourselves at the proper times and we're not just kind of hoarding like 300 grams of carbs for after 7 p.m. or something like that, just so we can, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Everything's spaced apart how it should be, and it keeps it consistent too, even with digestion and recovery,
yeah,
the way you feel. Like you're not just saying, here's your macros, and people just shove them with whatever they want and fill those however they feel.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
It
Well,
also
and
just makes
I agree.
grocery shopping annoying when you're not like when you're following a meal plan. It's just like you just buy the same groceries every single time, and it's just
It's so
straightforward,
easy. Yeah.
easy to cook. Like there's no you don't have to think. Like I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah. And I'd like to, I know people, probably someone asking about macros probably likes that flexibility part of it. But I know for you, how you structure your meal plans more so in the off season, this is more possible and can do a bit easier is give a few options for the meals. Like
yeah,
in my off season, I love my 4 options for a meal six because I can either have steak, I can have salmon, I can have shrimp, I can have breakfast.
yeah, yeah,
But then
yeah,
obviously deeper in prep, it gets more specific where we're like, okay, we have to make like you need to know what we're eating and how much of it just to keep things consistent.
yeah,
But that flexibility factor is nice in the off season for those who
yeah,
prefer a bit of more options.
Fueling shouldn't feel like a second job, especially when you're deep in prep, reverse, or just balancing real life. Prep Shop Toronto provides daily ready-made meals and bulk protein options that keep you consistent without spending hours cooking or tracking your meals. When nutrition is handled, your energy is steadier, recovery feels smoother, and your mind isn't stuck in food with math all day. That means less decision making, better training focus, and more mental space to actually live your life outside of the gym. Head to Prep Shop Toronto or email hello@prepshop.ca and use code Eleanor at checkout.
I was
yes, yeah. When I do say like my meal plans are depending on the person and like I really try to like get people to tell me like what foods do you want to eat like I'm not just like I want to know exactly what you want to eat so that we can be making it like more enjoyable. Because I don't just automatically put like shrimp in someone's meal plan unless they're like, hey, like you know what, I kind of like want to have some shrimp. Then it's like okay, like I can give you an option for shrimp. And like I love to be able to put like steak in someone's meal plan, but I'm never like
I
there's
love
never
my
a case
shrimp.
there's never a case where I'm going to tell someone that they have to eat steak every single day because like this it's expensive to eat steak every single day. So
Yeah.
um
It is nice to have that
I
option if you were to have it one night or whatever.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And if it's like a weekend in the summer and like kind of you're at a barbecue or like whatever, like it's very easy to still follow your meal plan um and all of that. So
100%.
I really wanted to go through like really quickly if Jaden wants to, but kind of like forcing clients or especially females to take time off if they have lost their cycle. Like, how do you approach that? And if you have any examples, like I know Nikki's an example, but Nikki's a client where she was like open to it, right?
yeah.
So, how do you approach that if a client's like, no?
I mean that comes down to kind of the risk tolerance topic um as well where like I mean like I can push as much as I can to explain to them why it would be smart um to do that. Like some people they will say that oh, my dog's humping my leg right now. Um yeah, so like it comes down to the risk tolerance again. So some people will say like oh like it's not a big deal to me, like it's fine if it's not like if it's not like happening like where like to me it might be more of kind of a big deal. So I will just kind of explain to them like what the kind of risks are with kind of continuing to like not try to get it back. Where God damn it, Baxter. um and just try to reason with them. Um where there's never been a time where I've kind of let a client win that conversation, really, where they were like, like, all like whatever their kind of reason is, if they want to compete again, or they want to do another cycle, or kind of whatever it is. I usually will always stand my ground and be like, like, we're not doing this until we get this desired result that we want, and for your health and longevity as a woman, because right now it might not be a big deal to you, but if you kind of continue to um, put it off and like not have proper cycles, then kind of down the road it will just be that much more difficult to restore that. And it might become kind of difficult to kind of get pregnant or whatever it is kind of down the road. So it's things that we, like, some girls don't think about when they're younger and in competing and stuff like that. And it's the same as men with whatever kind of things that they're dealing with, where might not be kind of a big deal now, but once you're older, it's kind of, it becomes more something that you might look back on and regret not taking more kind of care of. So yeah, that's kind of a conversation. I wouldn't call it an argument, but more, yeah, like a conversation that I don't ever kind of let myself lose on that one. Yeah.
That's a really good conversation to have when someone's either deciding to go enhanced or they already are, and they kind of have those goggles on where it's like, well, this is my only focus in life at this very moment. So I want to do everything it takes, and really don't think a lot about the future and even what that looks like for them. Even if their future is just solely bodybuilding, like, I think it is still a conversation to have because life could always change. And that just goes down to the client making sure they're also educated and not just saying, yeah, I'll do whatever, and they don't even know what they're doing.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we talked about this in the last podcast too, about like how a proper cycle is actually beneficial for gaining muscle.
Mhm.
Just in itself, it supports your bone density, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the fertility is a huge one. So that is all of the questions we covered. So that's great. And just to close out, for you as a coach and looking into 2026, what are some of your goals that you have this year? Whether it's like for your clients, for yourself, coaching, like, do you have any milestones you want to hit?
I don't know if I like
It's like,
saying them out loud, but at least 2 more pro cards this year is kind of what I will say. But
is that
there's
both the
definitely kind of
natural and the open?
that's kind of just across the board, like men, women, natural, open, just like
Overall,
kind of
2 pro cards, no matter what.
overall kind of two more pro cards would be would be the goal. But yeah, there's definitely, like, there's some like kind of large goals that I do have for the team this year, but they are quite aggressive, and I like to stay kind of humble with the things that I kind of put out there, so I don't want to kind of say too much. But yeah, there's some big goals that we have for the team at a couple of the shows that are going to be coming this year. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I feel like every year just keeps getting better and better.
Yeah.
Anything else? Any other insight or anything you wanted to add in as we close out?
I don't think so, unless there's any other questions that you guys had.
No, I think we pretty much covered everything and went over everything. Well, thank you so much, Jaden, for coming on. This will definitely be a hit, and we're happy to get it out there, and appreciate everyone watching.
And thank you for taking time off of WhatsApp for this.
We'll try to
Yeah.
get some sleep tonight. Maybe 2 a.m., not 3 p.m. tonight.
Maybe
We'll
2
see.
a.m.
It's already 9 o'clock. Holy shit.
I know.
I know. Me and Nikki both have 2 meals. I'm not the only one tonight, guys.
I just drank a coffee.
So you're ready
I
for your
have-
night.
yeah, I'm ready to go here.
Love it.
Thanks, Jaden. We really appreciate you
Yeah.
coming on.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me, guys.